of the Most High. Now, let's just start out by saying this. I want to teach on something, all right, this morning on Christmas Day. We talked about the fact that when Jesus was born, his name was called Emmanuel, which is God is with us. And when God is with you, and you want to translate that into the manifest presence of God, fear has to be eliminated. It says, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. So as you're walking through the valley of the shadow of death, because you know God is with you, you should not manifest fear. So let's assume that a child is walking through a dark alley, and the child hears noises and things like that, and sees creatures and all of that. And the child is all alone. The child can manifest, even adults can manifest fear. But if there is an adult that is strong, big, huge, walking with that child, the child knows that this person is with me, therefore I will not, that child just doesn't manifest fear in walking through that valley there of the shadow of death. Now, the issue is, what I want to say this morning is that fear will nullify God's presence. Now, that's what I want to show here. That God is your, 46:1, is your very present help. 46:1, Psalm 46:1. Very present help in trouble. Now, why don't people see him or see him as that very present help in time of trouble? Who is there right there with them and gets them out? Why don't they see Hebrews 4:16? That let us come through on grace and obtain mercy and find grace to help in a time of need. Why don't they see that help there? We're speaking on subject of faith. That very present and timely help when a person is in need. The issue is fear. And that a person can be fearful in their heart. Now, if we go to Matthew chapter 14 and look at verse 27 and 28, we'll see that Jesus straight away spoke unto them, saying, be of good cheer, it is I, be not afraid. And the Bible says, and Peter said, if he's bid me to come on water, verse 29. And he said, come, and came down off ship and walked on the water to go to Jesus. Now, what destroyed everything? And when he saw that the wind was boisterous, he was afraid. You see, that's what caused the problem. He was afraid and beginning to sink. Out of that fear, he cried, Lord, save me. Now, you can't walk with God if you don't know how to neutralize fear or completely suspend it when you are doing big and major things for God. So how do we do that? I want to look at it this morning here. How do we get to that? Fear is what destroys. We'll see this. And the opposite of fear is stillness. All right, let's read Psalm 46. Let's go on verse 3. Let's go on verse 3. Let's look at this here. Though the mountains be removed and shaken swelling thereof. Next verse. There is a river. Now I want to discuss this. And the streams whereof make glad the city of God, the holy places of the tabernacle of the Most High. It says, God is in the midst of her, that river, and she shall not be moved. God shall help her. So God is in the midst of that person in that river, and he shall help her, and that right early. You can see the timing here. But it says she shall not be moved, and God shall help her. So God is in the midst, she shall not be moved, and then he will help her when she is not moved, and that right early. Look at the next verse. The heathen raged, the kingdoms were moved. God uttered his voice and the earth melted. The Lord of hosts is with us. The God of Jacob is our refuge. Next verse. Come, behold the works of the Lord and the desolations he has made in the earth. He maketh wars to cease. He breaks the bow, cuts the spear in sunder. He burns the chariots and fire. Now, verse 10 there. Be still, which means instead of functioning in fear, it says, be still and you will know that I am God. I will be exalted among the heathen. I will be exalted in the earth. So instead of fear, when you're in a situation, if you can arrive at a place of stillness. Now, stillness doesn't mean that there's no physical activity on the outside. But you can enter into the place where your mind is not disturbed at all about that desperate and pressing situation. Where you have come to the point where there is no anxiety in your consciousness. You've arrived at the place of stillness, which means you are still on the inside. You are not yet even doing anything on the outside first. Let's say this here. But you want to achieve stillness on the inside, a place where you are not disturbed by that particular situation. That there is no disturbance. Look at the principle here. We'll see it's the principle here. If we look at Exodus chapter 14, verse 13. Exodus 14 and verse 13. And Moses said to the people, fear not. Now, the Red Sea was before them, Egypt was behind them.